Just when you thought they couldn't stoop any lower, CNN steps up and says, hold our beer. Seldom does a day go by when I don't beat up CNN for their bias. I mean, they make it really easy with guys like Jim Acosta, Jake Tapper, and Brian Stelter. My favorite is that Brian Stelter, a guy who uses nothing but anonymous sources, hosts a show called Reliable Sources. But every now and again, CNN does something that's particularly egregious. And so is the case with an announcement they made this morning, something that my sources told me last week was going to happen, something that I tweeted about over the last couple of days. And that's the hiring of a guy named Josh Campbell as a new law enforcement analyst. Well, why is it important that CNN hired a new law enforcement analyst? Well, typically it wouldn't be. We figured we'd get a guy who's biased in favor of Democrats and promoted CNN's slant on issues pertaining to Black Lives Matter and criminals and criminal justice reform. But Josh Campbell's important because he was James Comey's special assistant at the FBI. He was a go-to guy to fix problems for Andrew McCabe. Well, it sure looks like CNN is making sure that Josh Campbell, James Comey's former special assistant at the FBI, is now very cozy, and comfortable as a law enforcement analyst over there. And it's the feeling of people inside the Bureau that he really has one job: to throw shade for Comey, McCabe, and the FBI. Comey and McCabe now have an inside man at the Bureau, somebody they could trust with maybe classified information they have laying around that they've hung on to. That would be improper. I'm not saying we know they did. Hypotheticals, but this is why you would use a guy like that. There are still Comey and McCabe allies inside FBI. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page still have jobs there. They still have allies at DOJ. Now those people have someone inside CNN to whom they can pass information, and the CNN bosses aren't going to question him. They're not going to say, who's the source? Let me see it. They're going to say, this guy was Comey's right hand. He was at the Bureau for 12 years in a senior role for most of those years. We believe him. We hired him for this reason. But in reality, they hired him because he's ideologically aligned with them, and they're ideologically aligned with Comey and McCabe. And this is where the mainstream media breaks down. This is why the term fake news exists. This is why Americans mock and don't trust outlets like CNN, because they don't even care anymore about the veneer of objectivity, about the veneer of honesty. They don't care anymore. They've thrown it away. They're going to tell you Josh Campbell is objective, and you're going to read everything else he's written, and you're going to see all of the comments that are going to start to come out by sources inside the FBI that say he's anything but objective, and CNN is going to mock you. Jake Tapper is going to go out there and tell you that it's nonsensical, and Brian Stelter is going to mock you, and Jim Acosta is going to mock you, and Allison Camerata is going to mock you, and they're going to tell you, don't believe your own lying eyes. Believe us at CNN. And this, to me, is particularly reprehensible because they're now justifying the corruption of a law enforcement agency. Look, I don't care who the corrupt person is. I don't care what their politics are. I have a political bent. I'm a conservative guy. I advocate for Republicans. I advocate for conservatives. I'm a fan of this president. But let me tell you something. I don't care who the person is. If that person committed a crime, I don't care if that person were someone that I had previously 100 times on this show defended and respected and advocated for. If that person committed a crime and the evidence was overwhelming, I'm going to objectively give you that evidence. If that person is convicted, I'm going to run through why and why I felt it was right. If procedure was followed in that case, I might tell you, wow, I'm incredibly disappointed that someone I respected, admired, supported fell so far. That's really disappointing to me because I thought they could do great things. But now they were convicted. Now we've got to objectively tell the story of why, and we need to root out all of the corruption around them. CNN doesn't do that. CNN only wants to do that on the part of the Democrats. They're fine when a guy like Adam Schiff, who's allegedly been leaking classified information, and now that's coming out more every day. Well, they're fine when he gives them info. They don't want to look into his wrongdoing. They only want to look into it on the part of the Republicans. But this is particularly dangerous because now Comey and McCabe can spread disinformation, bungling things even more, confusing people even more. And I think this was highly unethical on the part of CNN. If you like this content, I want to keep bringing it to you. Please subscribe to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very, very much. And don't forget to check out my new hour-long show, Off the Cuff Declassified. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with you tomorrow.